Hey friends, welcome to Mimi's Mixed Bag. Thank you for stopping by. If you're new to my channel, check out my playlist. I've got hundreds of craft projects, seasonal decor, all kinds of fun stuff to watch. Today is Wednesday. I'm actually off today, which is super rare, and it gave me an opportunity to make a video today. You know, once school starts, I am scrambling to find any kind of time to make a video. But I wanted to kind of do a part 2 of last week. Last week I shared with you some Kirkland's new fall decor dupes, and when I looked through there I found like a dozen things that I could make cheaper than what they're selling it for, and so I got a few more I wanted to bring to you. Super cute stuff. I'll put last week's video down below in case you missed that. I loved 3 of the 4 that I did last week. The one that was the beaded wreath, I was a little disappointed in it just because I didn't buy enough of the wheat stems to really make it look like the original. But nonetheless, I still showed you what to buy to give you that same look. So today I'm going to make 3 or 4 more things, and I'll get everything out and show you what I'm going to use and give you a little tidbits of the process. But basically it's going to be a before and after, because most of these are simple enough where you can clearly see what I did and easy to recreate. So let's get started with project 1. Alright, for project number 1, I'm going to try to recreate this pumpkin floral arrangement framed art print. Now, since last week, a lot of this new decor has actually gone 30% off. So last week it was $24 something, and now it is $17.49. But even at $17.49, I can make it cheaper than what they're selling it for. So let me show you what I'm going to use to create it. So I've said many times that anytime you come across those Melissa and Doug little wooden boxes and trays and puzzle frames, to pick them up. They are great wood pieces to work with. I don't know if this is necessarily Melissa and Doug, but it's one of those, you know, wooden kids puzzle frames, and I knew eventually I would have a use for it. And sure enough, here I am. So it's just a square wood puzzle frame that I probably paid 50 cents for in the bins. Now it does have a little bit of the puzzle print on the frame, so I'm going to have to figure out something. I don't know if I'm going to paint it a wood tone color or something to get rid of that trim. And for the pumpkin print, I originally had this pumpkin napkin I was going to decoupage onto this chipboard, which is actually a cereal box. It was pumpkins, it had some floral to it, and it would give me that same look. But then I got to thinking, you know, I'm going to try to screenshot that pumpkin that's on the original and print it and see what happens. Well, here I am. I've got it printed. It is going to be the exact pumpkin floral that's on the original. So that's what I'm going to use to decoupage on this chipboard. And then once I get that dried, I'm going to use some foam tape to lift it up to give it that elevated look, and I think it's going to be super spot on. That's project number 1, and I will get that done and I will show you the end result at the end of this video. Alright, project number 2, I'm going Christmas, and I'm going to make a red and black buffalo Christmas wreath. Here's my inspiration, and it is from Kirkland's, and it was last week it was $99. This week it's on sale for $69.99. Even 30% off. I think I can make it cheaper. So let me show you what I'm going to use here. I hadn't dug through all my Christmas stuff yet, and really the only place you can get Christmas stuff at this point in time is like Hobby Lobby or Michael's, but I know I've got some Christmas picks up in the attic, and I'm going to see what I got. But I got a bunch of these little pine stems, and I know I've got red berries, and this is the only red buffalo plat I have. It's twice as wide as what the original is, but I'm going to see how that looks, because I may just keep it wide, but I'll still get the same look. Now, as far as my wreath, let me bring it back here. The wreath itself looks a little imperfect, which means it appears that they have like wrapped a wood wreath, because it's kind of bumpy a little bit. I thought, you know, I'm gonna try to just make a wreath shape using an Aldi's grocery sack and some of this thin brown masking paper. All I'm going to do is roll this paper up into a circle and use some masking tape to create my wreath form, because I'm going to cover it with ribbon anyway. But I'll show you what it's going to look like before I cover it up. And pretty much once I get my wreath made, wrap it in ribbon and stick my stems on there, stick the bow on, and I can make this within the hour. So that's what I'm using to create project number 2. I'll show you at the end. I just want to show you how I took my paper bag apart at the seams and then just laid it out straight and then just started rolling it up in a tube. And then when I get all the way done, then I'm going to just tape it into a circle and then just wrap it in some masking tape to give me that wreath shape. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, here is my finished wreath form. This was just the grocery sack only. I did not add any extra of the masking paper. I just didn't feel like it needed it. This is about the size I needed. It doesn't have to look pretty because it's going to be covered up with ribbon anyway. And for what I need it for, I think this will work just fine. All right, for project number 3, this is a lantern that I have been wanting to make for the last couple years. Either I just haven't seen one in the store to buy, or I just haven't made the time to make one. And I love this kind of pear shape that it creates. And this is from Kirkland's. It's an LED beaded lantern with fall leaves, and it appears to be a little on the smaller side. I need to look and see what the actual dimensions are, but it was originally, last week was $39.99 and this week is $27.99. But even at the sale price, I think I can make it a little cheaper. Now, I have seen this lantern created before on YouTube. One of my favorite YouTube crafters is She's So Crafty. I saw her make one, I think, a year or so ago, and she used Dollar Tree products, and she had used a Dollar Tree sign, you know, that kind of, you can flip over and use it like this. But my Dollar Tree was a little slim pickings, but all I could find last week was this little pumpkin thing. So I'm going to take these strips off, take the pumpkin stem off, and just use this as my base. She used some beads that were already wired. I'm using some 18mm aluminum craft wire. It's super easy to bend, but they do sell this really easy to bend aluminum wire at Dollar Tree. And then you're going to need some wood beads. A couple years ago, I bought one of those beaded car seats. If you know what I'm talking about, I'll put the picture here on the screen. So I've got probably 2,000 of these little wooden beads that I'm going to use to create my lantern. So this will give me a good reason to use these beads. Now, the only thing I don't have here is the little finial that goes on top of the lantern, but I'll find some kind of little knob or something that I've got that will definitely work. So I just want to show you what I'm using to create the beaded lantern. And so I'm pretty much just going to bead them on this wire, connect them in each corner, and then spray paint it. I'll get this done and show you at the end. And I just want to show you how I'm going to put it together so it'll make a little more sense when you see the finished project. I ended up beading 2 strands of beads. One has 29, one has 30. It's going to be different for you because it just depends on the beads, but just make sure one of your strands of beads is one less, because once you put your first row in there, and depends on whether you glue it in the box or on top of the box, you've got to have a little space here to put your row on top, so it'll be a little more flush when you get ready to put your finial on the top. But I'm going to just hot glue it this way, and then when I put the other one on there, it should be pretty steady. But I wanted you to see what it looked like before I get it put together and spray painted. All right, for project number 4, I picked up this thankful pumpkin sign at Dollar Tree last week at some of their new decor that's out, with this project right here in mind. This is the Kirkland's Hello Pumpkin beaded hanging wall plaque, and they're asking $20.99 for it on sale. And it does require some lettering that says Hello Pumpkin, and it's painted orange and white. After I got home, I realized that I could probably cover up this part of the plaque with a leaf, but right here I need to cut out this part right here. So I'm not sure how easy this stuff is to cut, but I'm gonna see. So this may or may not be at the end of the video, but I'm gonna try to cut it out, and so I may end up, maybe easier just to cut it and then put a new stem back on. We'll see, but I'll tell you what I did when I get done. I found one that had the least amount of glitter on it, and what some people do, use this side, and that way you don't have to worry about that thankful or that glittery part that has a raised feel to it even showing through. So that's what I'll probably end up doing. Pretty simple, but I know I can make this for less than $20.99. So those are my 4 projects I'm going to work on here this afternoon, and I'll show you when I get done. The first one I'm going to show you is the pumpkin floral arrangement framed art print. is where I use the little puzzle frame. I'm real happy with it. The only thing I would have done different is I would have used double stack of the foam tape. You know, it is elevated, but it's just not elevated enough, but it still looks good. Super cute. It doesn't have a hanger on the back, so I'm just gonna prop it up on my bathroom or somewhere that I can find. Save myself $17.49 plus tax. The next one is the red and black buffalo check pine and berry wreath. I am really happy with this one. This one's pretty much spot on. Even with my ribbon being a little wider, I've got the same exact look with just those pine picks, a little eucalyptus and some berries, and then the tails on the bow right here. And then I just took a floral pin and pinned a little pipe cleaner there. No one would ever know this was made out of an Aldi's grocery bag, and they were asking $69.99, and I can make this for less than $20. All right, project number 3. I'm going to say this again. I couldn't be happier with it. Love the way it turned out. Even using these old beads that I had. My finial's just a little different, but I made it work. It was a little wooden apple I had and a little bitty wooden ball thing that I just hot glued on there. And then I just went and dug through and found some orange leaves that I had and kind of cut them up and made them the shape of the ones in the original. And I just had one of those little LED candles. This certainly gives me the look I want. Love it and can't wait to find somewhere to put this. The asking price for $27.99, I was able to make it for half price because the wood beads can be a little pricey if you had to buy the beads, but you could definitely make this cheaper than what they're asking for it. And last but not least, my 4th project is the Hello Pumpkin beaded hanging wall plaque. They were asking the $20.99 for it on sale. I said originally that I was going to use the back because it was smoother, and I really wish I would have. I ended up using the front side because the stem was going the direction that the original was. I thought, oh, I'll just try my best to cover up that thankful, but if you look close enough, you can see the indentation of the thankful, even scraping the glitter off. It's always better to use the back when this Dollar Tree stuff has glitter on it. I was able to cut off those leaves that were at the top here with some hedge nippers, and then I took some sandpaper and just sanded it and made it look a little better. These are some stick-on letters that I had in my stash. These were actually some blue glitter letters that I painted black, and they had come from Hobby Lobby. And then these were just some Amazon sticker letters, had made some Ray Dunn ornaments with. So usually sticker letters are not hard to find at all. My hanger's just a little shorter than the original. Hot glued a leaf on there and just super happy with it. Like I said in my last video, this is some of my favorite type of crafting, is to recreate something for a fraction of the cost and then get just as much joy sharing it with you all of how I did it and hoping that you'll do the same. I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate you watching, and I'll be back next week with something fun to share. Bye-bye.